Depending on how this all goes, I would have completed my goal or failed miserably. So, we shall see. Hello guys, welcome back to the channel. This channel is shared and run by two sisters, so I'll be your host today, Star. When reviewing my past work, I have noticed that while the character art I have done before are good for what it is and what it might be used for, I feel like it can all be better or at least different, or like I'm taking some type of risk when it comes to designing characters. I explored that a little with a character named Chancellor for my fantasy story, and I want to keep a similar approach. And so yeah, let's design non-human, human-looking characters. Let's get into it. For each of the designs, I loosely base it on a flower to have some sort of baseline for the character, because starting from scratch on a blank canvas is hard. The one for the first design is the moonflower, a white flower with a yellow middle. It represents dreams, mystery, and beauty coming during dark times, also symbolizing romance as well. Because I have seen some images with a bluish tint, I knew that I was going to make that the skin tone as opposed to just white. But white is way too important, obviously, for the flower, so adding it on top and giving the character vitiligo was the best way to do things. So I think we can give myself a point with a colorful skin tone. But before we talk about color, let me backtrack a little and talk about the sketch. When I first started with the design, really quickly I knew what I wanted to do for the character. The first design wasn't my favorite, but the second I really did love. I did tweak it because it did feel a little too top heavy for me when I went into the final sketch, but overall it's about the same in the last version as with the concept. I wanted a clean and minimal design for this character, so I restricted myself with patterns or anything busy. And also because I wanted these designs to really look animalistic, I knew that adding hooves, I think that's what this is, instead of feet was my best bet. Honestly, I would rather draw this than feet anyways, because I don't think I actually ever drew feet before, and I don't think I ever will. I don't know. And it depends, but I don't plan to draw feet in the future. Because the flower has this kind of swirl in the middle, I wanted to add that into the design. And so we have it both as a faded scar, tattoo, or birthmark on his face, and then as a shirt design or symbol on his clothing, because I did feel like with a lot of blank space, something needed to be there. For the colors, the skin was probably the easiest for me, and so I utilized it for the hair. Having white or platinum hair to blue skin was a good color combo, but the added blue helped me shade the hair instead of using gray or something. I think it came out so cute and I really do love it. The pink was added because it just complements blue really well. The rest was trial and error, but eventually it all came out together. This was definitely the easiest and fastest design to do and is definitely probably my favorite. Another checkpoint for me also is the fact that I'm designing male characters, because I tend to not do that as much as female ones. So we're on a really good track so far. Moving on to the next fine alien. I don't know. Are these aliens? My original goal was to make alien characters, but honestly, it doesn't really matter what they look like at this point. But anyways, the design is based on the red spider lily. Spider lilies are represented by loss and abandonment, death, the afterlife, and rebirth. Honestly, I had high hopes for this character, and yet I think I felt a little bit flat. While I feel like the first design represents peace and tranquility well, this one doesn't really give any vibe of death or just overall badness, and I didn't even take into account the color palette, but we'll get into all of that. During the sketching phase, I played around a lot with the clothing. I did have an idea of what I originally wanted, like some sort of spider cagey rib cage outfit thing, but I couldn't execute what I thought of. And so then I played around with some sort of shredded look and like blood spatter look, because I did think he would have, honestly, he would have bodied a dress, but alas, I quickly got annoyed of that because I couldn't get it right and I moved on really quickly. Then I played around with headpiece or some sort of veil for some sort of mysterious look, which would have been really good and would have went well with the representation of the flower, but I didn't really explore that effect, and so we don't really have that here. The fourth take ended up being my favorite, or the one that just ended up working well, and I really do like how the concept looks, but I did not execute it in terms of the representation of the flower. And it also looks slightly different from how it looked in the concept to what the final sketch ended up looking like. For example, whatever of the crown shape things I had, whatever was going on in the concept is now gone, now replaced just by antenna ears. The cutout on the pants didn't even make it into the end of the final sketch. The positioning of the ribbons, I don't know, I guess the ribbons, I don't even know what to call it, changes, and the wrist ones get a lot smaller. The end has an addition of some sort of like repeated pattern design on the clothing, and there's also an addition of a necklace to replace the tie from the concepts, and the removal of the left ear jewelry because of the braided hair I ended up adding. Now, onto the coloring. It was all really trial and then just crying because nothing looked good. If I went with the caged or shredded look, then an all red outfit would have eaten up, bro. But because this outfit has different parts, all of that being red just was not going to work. We needed to break up the color palette a little bit here. So yellow and white complements red really well, and gray was added because it didn't dull or darken out the rest of the piece if it was black like I had originally planned it to be. Similar to the moonflower design, I added the primary color of red into the head, or not the head, the hair, for visual interest, and a pop of color for the hair overall. Although this isn't my favorite, I do think it's the most well put together design, just because everything does complement each other really well, and like visually it looks good together. And finally, we had a design inspired by the fishnet stocking flower. That is what I am calling it, but I will put the exact name on the screen. I found less about what this flower symbolized compared to the others, but what I did find was innocence, change / transformation, protection / shield, and vibrancy. And for the latter, it's really evident that my design does not reflect representation of this flower, because honestly, you'll see later, my design is anything but vibrant, but I'll explain more about that when it comes. I had two thoughts only when I wanted to do this design. Fishnets needed to be in the design, and open chest or revealing outfit. And honestly, I think I fucking ate that shit up. While the original design, the original concept is long and has much more of a cover, when I started the piece, I course corrected that really quickly. Before we get into that, I hope everyone is noticing that I do not have same face syndrome over here. No ma'am. If anything, I can't draw the same face twice, but that's another challenge, another problem I have to go through another time. I wanted to ensure for these designs that I played around with a more circular shape or something more longer or narrower, right? Anyways, anything that's just like elongated, just to ensure that no one face is the same. I really do hope I did that justice, because I'm always trying to get better in that aspect. When I transferred the concept for this piece, the top did still go through several versions during the final sketching stage, but the bottom for the most part stayed the same. It is similar to the concept, but it's just a bit more shorter and less kind of flowy like. I also added a ribbon tying around the leg because I love me a little bit of a crisscross fabric design moment, and the legs themselves just felt a little too bare to me because of how open it was. I think the only complication that I had with this piece was mainly for the hair and the accent color. For the first two designs, the primary colors and accent colors came really easily, but for this one, the primary color came easily, which is green, but breaking that green up was a lot harder than I expected it to be. I do wish this was a little bit more colorful, especially because of the vibrant flower itself and how multicolored it is. But I will say the flower itself also is admired for its naturey color scheme or naturey image. And so I feel like, or I guess I like to believe, that all of the green in my design works in my favor in that regard. And plus, when I did want to add more color, like for the hair example, I just hated everything that I was doing. Nothing was working right for me. And so at the end of the day, green just worked out really well. And so it is what it is. And so yeah, we're coming to an end. But before we do end, I don't want the takeaway of I wish I did this or this didn't go right to mean that I'm hating on my work or that I hate any of the designs. I really do love everything I did in this video, and I am super happy. I set out to make designs like I never have before, so that's a check. I wanted to make sure none of these characters had the same face or looked like recolors of one another. Check. I wanted to draw outfits different from what I at least have done in the past. Check. I wanted to add animalistic characteristics like for their feet or on their head to show that they're not fully human or imply what they can be inspired by or / trying to make them more alien-like, whatever the case is. Check. I wanted to draw characters I knew for sure I would draw again because they have something visually that is at least attention grabbing for me to want to draw them again. Check, check, check. Like, let's not act like I didn't do my fucking thing in this video, because I really think I did. I did well. I gotta pat myself on the back a little bit here. With that said, yes, now we are finally done. Here, once again, are all the final designs. Let me know what your favorite is. Mine has to be the first one of the video as a design that's just mwah, chef's kiss. Like, everything about this just works. The second I like for the face, just something about the screams, like he gets into trouble. And the last design I like because I think it executes every plan and every idea I went into drawing these designs with. So yeah, now it's it. Thank you so much for watching this video. It truly means a lot. And I see you in another video. Have an amazing day. Stay safe, stay warm. Peace. Mwah. Bye, guys.